Well, as another year has come and almost gone, we're approaching 2024, and there are Medicare changes you need to know about. I'll be discussing the best Medicare supplement plans for 2024, but also how much will you be paying for your Medicare Part B premium as well as the Medicare Part B deductible. Stick around. Now, my name is Russell Noga with Medisupps.com, and for the last 15 years, we've been helping people with their Medicare supplement insurance in all 50 states. So if you have questions during this video or afterwards, feel free to call the number down below, and we are here to help. Our service is entirely free. So let's just rip the Band-Aid off quickly and get this out of the way. The bad news, which is, of course, your Medicare Part B premium is going up for 2024. In 2023, the standard Medicare Part B premium was $164.90. In 2024, that amount is going to $174.70, which is about 6%. Also, the Medicare Part B deductible, and that is the amount that you must pay for doctor services prior to Medicare Part B coming in and paying 80% of your medical bills, is going from $226 up to $240 for 2024. Now, that is the standard Medicare Part B premium for 2024, the $174.70. If you make a higher income, unfortunately, you're going to be in a higher bracket and you're going to have to pay a little more. Now, before I get into the best Medicare supplement plans for 2024, let's talk a little bit more about the parts of Medicare just as a refresher and for maybe people who are new. Medicare, or original Medicare, consists of two main parts. That's Medicare Part A and Medicare Part B. Part A covers hospitalization, and Part B covers doctor services. Now, there's no increase on the Part A premium for next year because it's already paid. You paid that through your payroll taxes. So Medicare Part A, again, hospitalization, Part B, doctor services, those have gaps in them, and those gaps are expenses which are basically medical bills that they don't pay. That could be coinsurance, copays, or deductibles that original Medicare does not pay, and that is where a Medicare supplement plan comes in. Now, Medicare supplement plans are also called Medigap because they help cover some or all of those gaps in original Medicare. There are 10 different Medicare supplement plans available, and they're not changing for 2024. They're not adding any new plans, they're not taking any away, and the benefits of each plan are not changing. So out of the 10, there really are just a couple different plans that most people go with. Now, Medigap plans are lettered. They're designated in letters A through N. And just because you go deeper in the alphabet doesn't mean the coverage gets any better. Now, you may have heard of such plan letters as F or G or N, and I'll be talking about those in detail. But Medicare supplement plans are standardized. And what this means is, if it's a Medicare Supplement Plan G, for instance, no matter which company offers it, they all have identical benefits. The most important thing to remember is they all charge different rates for it. So what are the best Medicare supplement plans for 2024 then? Well, when it comes to Medicare plans, be it a Medicare supplement plan or a Medicare Advantage plan or a Medicare Part D prescription drug plan, there is no best because everybody's situation is different. You might take different medications than your neighbor, but they say their drug plan is great. Or one particular person says, I have got this great Medicare Advantage plan, but I never get sick and I never use it. Well, of course it's great. No insurance is great if you never use it. When it comes to the best, it depends on a few different things. Most importantly, your own specific needs as well as your own budget. Now, you might be saying, well, gee, Russell, that makes total sense, but it doesn't exactly help me pick a plan. Well, don't worry, I'm getting to that point. Because when it comes to the Medicare supplement plans, there really are just a few, as I mentioned, that most people enroll in. The reason is they provide very comprehensive coverage for relatively low premiums, but then all the other plans are typically much more expensive with less benefits, and that's even if you can find a company that even provides those. So the market has just brought it down to a few different plans that make the most sense for the most people. Now, for the best Medicare supplement plans in 2024, or the ones that most people go with, absolutely is going to be Medicare Supplement Plan G and Medicare Supplement Plan N. Now, the one exception to that would be the lower premium Medicare Supplement High-Deductible Plan G. Premiums might average around $40 to $50 a month, but again, in many cases, a Plan N is very close to that in the premium, but you get much more coverage. You don't have to wait to meet that high deductible. I've got a separate video on Medicare Supplement High-Deductible Plan G if you want to learn more. So let's start with the details of Medicare Supplement Plan G. By far the most popular Medicare Supplement plan for 2024. It has been for 2023 because it's got great coverage, almost identical to that Plan F that I mentioned, which provides 100% coverage. With Medicare Supplement Plan G, you get 100% coverage of the gaps in Medicare after you simply pay the Medicare annual Part B deductible yourself. Now, the only people who don't pay that deductible are people with a Plan F. Remember when I mentioned at the beginning of this video, the Medicare annual Part B deductible for 2024 is $240. Let's break that down. What happens is you visit the doctor on January 1st and you get billed, say, $300. Well, the first $240 of that bill you're required to pay. After that, Medicare Part B will come in and pay 80% of your medical bills for the rest of the calendar year. If you have a Medicare Plan G in place, Medicare Plan G will pay the remaining 20% for the rest of the calendar year, leaving you with no medical bills for the rest of the calendar year on all Medicare-approved expenses. You might be saying at this point, well, gee, what if I qualify for Plan F? That sounds good. It's going to pay the deductible for me. Well, again, only people who are enrolled in Medicare prior to January 1st of 2020 can enroll in a Plan F. But also remember, the annual Part B deductible that you must pay on a Plan G or any other plan but Plan F is $240 for 2024. To enroll in a Plan F, it will probably cost you $300 or more extra dollars because it's a higher coverage plan. Now, if I mentioned to you, hey, I've got a great deal for you, give me $300 and I'll give you $240 back, you would never do it. I certainly, as your agent, would never allow you to do it because it's money down the drain. All you have to do is write the check for the deductible yourself, and you get 100% coverage after that's met. So anybody still out there on a Medicare Supplement Plan F, especially in today's economy, which, as we all know, is not good, if you want to look to save some money, consider a Medicare Supplement Plan G. You can actually view the rates of Plan G in your area. They are accurate rates, real time, on my website, Medisupps.com, at any time. So go ahead and visit that, or again, you can always call us at the phone number down below. So you can also see the rates for Medicare Plan G and Plan N on my website, entirely free, no obligation. That also will give you a good comparison of the differences in premiums to see how much money you can save. So as you can see, Medicare Supplement Plan G, great coverage, only one small deductible, and then 100% of the gaps paid for you. Now, one important thing to remember is there's no network with these plans. Medicare is a federal program. It's nationwide. Any doctor who accepts Medicare Part B will take your Medicare Supplement Plan regardless of which company it is. So let's talk about the details of Medicare Supplement Plan N, and I'll tell you why I will be recommending this a lot to people in 2024. Mostly because of the lower monthly premiums, and as we know, the economy's not good. Every dollar counts. Now, when I say lower monthly premiums, that's lower than Plan G. In fact, in some cases, up to $30 less per month for very close coverage. Now, Plan N, you still pay the Medicare Part B deductible each year. And again, that's $240 for 2024. So visit the doctor on January 1st. It goes by a calendar year. You will have to pay the first $240 of your accumulated medical bills for that calendar year. After which, Medicare Part B will come in and pay 80% of your medical bills for the rest of the year. Plan N, just like Plan G, will pick up the 20%. So at that point, you're riding free, you're looking good. But with Plan N, you don't just get lower premiums for nothing. There is what's called some cost sharing involved, which means if you revisit the doctor anytime throughout the year, you could have up to a $20 copay per doctor's visit. So that means it could be no copay or somewhere in between, but never more than $20 per visit. I tell people just to assume it's going to be a $20 copay per visit. But it will never be more than that. That's the good news. Now, one other copay you may run into on Plan N is if you visit the emergency room and you're not admitted, there will be a $50 copay. Now, that's actually good news because it means you are well enough to go home, pay the $50, go get well. However, they just don't want people going to the emergency room for small items like the sniffles, which a lot of people do. They'll just walk in and say, I think I have a cold. This is to keep you out of there. There's a benefit to that for having Plan N and that being in place, which I'll mention in one moment. Now, there's one other thing on Plan N that's called Medicare Part B excess charges. Plan G pays those for you, so you don't have to worry about them. But you don't really even have to worry about them on Plan N. This is because most people visit doctors, people who are on Medicare, that take what's called Medicare assignment. These doctors accept the assigned rates from Medicare. It's estimated over 95% of doctors in this country do. Your doctor probably does. If you visit a doctor that does not, they can charge up to 15% extra. Medicare Plan N does not cover those. However, it's estimated that less than 1% of all health claims ever see an excess charge, and even if they do, it's less than $20. So by no means should that scare you off. Most of my clients, in fact, all of them, have never even seen an excess charge. So I wouldn't worry about that. But that other benefit of having Plan N and those copays in place that I mentioned benefits you in another way. When there's extra cost sharing involved with a Medicare plan or any health insurance plan, and people know they have to pay if they're going to use the coverage, they use it more responsibly. This is a great thing because it keeps health claims lower, not frivolous health claims. They're not being involved. Keeps them lower, which keeps rate increases lower. Medicare supplement plans typically have a rate increase once per year. Plan G does, Plan N does, and all of the companies do. In fact, if you ever get an agent who says that their company they're recommending doesn't have rate increases, call us because I'm telling you, they're lying to you. But with Plan N, with all those things involved, Plan N averages lower rate increases every year than Plan G. So I highly recommend Plan N for just about everybody except for people who go to the doctor very often. Now, what is the definition of often? Well, I will tell you this. This is a good benchmark to use. If you have Plan N and you visit the doctor once per month, in most cases, you will still save money by having Plan N over Plan G. But there's the other case, and many clients I have, my brother-in-law I just talked to the other day, I had him on Plan G years ago. He didn't want to ever fiddle with the bills or the copays. And he was willing to pay more to not get those copay bills, which I absolutely understand and respect. So if you're that person, you might want to just go with Plan G. You know, you'll get one bill in 2024 of up to $240. After that, 100% coverage, and you'll never see a copay bill in the mail. For some people, that's very important. So that's the breakdown between the two most popular Medicare supplement plans for 2024. We also covered that Part B premium going up and the deductible. But the easiest way to get all of your questions answered for free, never any obligation, and some pushy salespeople, we don't do that. We've been doing this 15 years, is to call us today at the phone number below. It is 1-888-891-0229. You can talk to myself or my top agent, Diana Firth. We are experienced, been doing this a long time, and we love getting people in the right spot with their Medicare insurance, but also untangling all of the lies that seem to be going around out there. So to make it easy for 2024, give us a call today. I promise you'll be glad you did.